Chapter 1. The Forgotten Woods. In the small village of Whispering Pines, everyone knew to avoid the Forgotten Woods. It was a dense forest, filled with towering trees that blocked out the sun. The villagers believed the woods were enchanted, a place where time itself was strange and unpredictable. But 10-year-old Jonah wasn't afraid of the woods. In fact, he was drawn to them. One cloudy afternoon, while exploring the outskirts of the village, Jonah found himself near the edge of the Forgotten Woods. There, hidden among the bushes, he noticed something unusual, a tree that seemed different from all the others. Its bark was smooth and shiny, and its branches were twisted into the shape of a clock. Curious, Jonah reached out to touch the tree, and as soon as his fingers brushed the bark, the tree's branches began to move, forming the shape of a clock's hands. The tree hummed softly, and before Jonah knew it, the world around him started to blur. When the world came back into focus, Jonah realized he was no longer in the Whispering Pines he knew. The village looked older, with fewer houses and more trees. The air was filled with the scent of fresh earth and flowers he had never seen before. As Jonah wandered through this strange version of his village, he encountered people who seemed familiar yet different. They wore clothes from another time, and their way of speaking was old-fashioned. Jonah soon realized that the time-telling tree had transported him back in time. Not knowing what to do, Jonah decided to explore this old version of Whispering Pines. He met a girl named Lila, who seemed to be around his age. Lila was kind and curious, just like Jonah. She explained that the village was still new, and the woods were a place of mystery even then. The elders say the woods are where time stands still, Lila told him. But I think they're just scared. No one has ever really explored them. Jonah smiled. Maybe we could explore them together. And so, with Lila as his guide, Jonah ventured deeper into the past. As they ventured further into the Forgotten Woods, Jonah and Lila discovered a hidden clearing that seemed untouched by time. In the center stood a small, stone house with ivy climbing its walls. The door creaked open as they approached, and inside, they found an old man sitting by a fireplace. The old man had a long, silver beard and wore robes that shimmered like stardust. "Welcome, travelers," he said in a voice that echoed gently. "I am the keeper of time. The tree brought you here for a reason." Jonah and Lila exchanged glances, both feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. "The time-telling tree connects all moments of the village's history," the keeper explained. "It has sensed a disturbance in time, something that threatens to change the village's future forever. You two have been chosen to set things right. What do we need to do?" Jonah asked, eager to help. The keeper handed them a small, golden hourglass. "You must find the source of the disruption, hidden somewhere in these woods, and use this hourglass to restore the flow of time. But be warned, the source will try to trick you. You must be wise and brave." With the hourglass in hand, Jonah and Lila set out to find the source of the disruption. The woods became darker and more tangled the further they went, as if the forest itself was trying to confuse them. But Jonah and Lila didn't give up. They followed the subtle hints the keeper had given them, trusting in their instincts and each other. Finally, they reached a glade where the trees twisted unnaturally, and the air was thick with a strange energy. In the center of the glade stood a figure, neither man nor beast, but something in between. Its eyes gleamed with mischief, and it spoke with a voice that echoed through the trees. Jonah stepped forward, holding up the hourglass. "We're here to restore time, not play games." The trickster grinned. "Oh, but you must play my game if you wish to succeed. Answer my riddle, and I might let you pass. But get it wrong, and you'll be lost in time forever." Jonah and Lila exchanged worried looks, but they knew they had no choice. The trickster's riddle was tricky, but together, they used their wits to figure it out. The trickster's voice lowered to a whisper, echoing through the darkened woods. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Jonah and Lila exchanged glances. The riddle was tricky, but Jonah remembered his grandfather telling him riddles just like this when he was younger. He thought carefully, repeating the riddle in his mind. I speak without a mouth, Jonah murmured, thinking of something that could produce sound without a mouth. Then it hit him. An echo, he said aloud. The trickster's grin faltered, its eyes narrowing as it realized Jonah had solved the riddle. Clever children, the trickster muttered, stepping aside begrudgingly. But be quick. Time is running out. Clever children, the trickster muttered, stepping aside. But be quick. Time is running out. With the trickster defeated, Jonah and Lila found the source of the disruption, a swirling vortex of colors and light that seemed to pull everything toward it. The hourglass in Jonah's hand began to glow, sensing the nearness of the source. How do we stop it? Lila asked, her voice tense. Jonah remembered the keeper's words. We have to turn the hourglass over, just as the sands of time flow, so too must this hourglass. As Jonah turned the hourglass, the vortex began to slow, and the colors inside it started to settle into a calm, rhythmic flow. The woods around them seemed to sigh in relief as the disruption faded away. The hourglass stopped glowing, and the woods were silent once more. The path back to the village was clear, and the time-telling tree appeared at the edge of the glade, its branches pointing toward home. As Jonah and Lila stepped through the doorway of the time-telling tree, they found themselves back in the present day. Whispering Pines looked just as Jonah remembered it, but there was something different, something that felt right. The villagers greeted Jonah warmly, though none of them seemed to remember the old version of the village he had visited. Lila was nowhere to be found, but Jonah felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that time had been restored. He returned to the oak tree, hoping to find the hidden door again, but it had disappeared. Still, Jonah knew that the magic of the time-telling tree was real, and that it had chosen him to protect the village's past, present, and future. And from that day on, Jonah never saw time the same way again. He knew that each moment was precious, a gift from the time-telling tree that connected them all.